You know how when you go to the gun store and ask your mom for an M16 and she says, we have an M16 at home? Well, I present to you the M16 at home. Hey guys, welcome back to Kwmjam Adventures. On today's episode of filming videos of guns before they're banned, we have the Kassnar Imports M116 MK1, aka the Armscor M1600, aka the Squires Bingham Model 16. Yeah, we'll talk about that whole mess later. So as you can tell from the design, this is styled after the very popular M16. Kind of. So first of all, the stock runs right from the buttstock all the way up to the fore end, all the way through here. It's actually made of wood. This entire stock is made of wood and then painted black. I have seen instances where people have sanded it down and stained it to make it look wood, which kind of makes it look even stranger, which I'm kind of here for, to be honest. And actually, I'm not entirely sure whether or not if people sanded it down or if you could actually buy it in that wood configuration. But either way, I'll show you a picture here of what that kind of looks like. So I guess the big thing to talk about too is that this is chambered not in 5.56, but in 22 long rifle. So it's a semi-automatic 22 long rifle, 15 round magazine. Actually, before we move away from the stock, that's part of the reason that I think it kind of looks so ridiculous. It's literally the reason I bought the gun. Well, sort of. I was at my local gun store scanning the gun rack, and I saw this and had no idea what it was. I basically said to the guy, what the hell is that? And DNR Sporting Goods, as you know, when I say that, you've probably made a sale. Anyways, less about my lack of willpower when it comes to buying guns, and we'll talk more about this. So just going over this rifle, I'm going to start off with the sights. So the front sight has a front sight post, which you can kind of see there. It's just a post on the end, and it's made to look like the gas block on an M16. So what is a gas block? Well, a gas block is on a 5.56 rifle. When the bullet's fired, bullet goes down the chamber, or sorry, down the barrel, goes into an opening in the gas block, which then shoots gases up into a piston, or there's a couple of different types of gas systems, which I'm not going to get into today, which then is what cycles the bolt. Now, since this is a 22 long rifle, as I mentioned, that's not how this works. This is just direct blowback. So when the 22 goes, the spring and the receiver, or sorry, the bolt are weighted enough and enough pressure in the spring to allow the bolt to come back, eject the shell, and load the next round. So the rear sight is once again one of the really things that makes this kind of look like that M16. It's the carry handle style sight, which then just has, I don't know if I can actually get this. Here, let me see if I can get this in here. You can see it's just a little, right here, you can see there's just a little hole. You line that up on the post, and that is your sight. So very basic style peep sight. Talking more about the receiver is very basic. You can actually kind of see it's essentially just a tube. And the bolt basically looks like almost any other 22 bolt. It's very simple in design. Very simple bolt handle. It does spin, which is kind of nice, so you can kind of get a good grip on it. It does have this little shell deflector to keep the spent casings from flying back, which on 22 I don't know if it was really necessary, but it's kind of neat. The only thing is it kind of gets, your finger kind of can't really fit really well between that, but whatever, it is what it is. As I mentioned, safety up here, kind of a weird spot for it, but it is what it is. You get to the lower receiver, that's where this thing really starts to come off the rails as looking like an M16. So the magazine, I'm just going to pop out here, which is just a little, you can see there's a little button right here, which it's very stiff. So you can see it just kind of almost looks like a standard 22 long rifle magazine. I believe this is a 15 rounder. You can get them into 10 rounds. And then this shroud is just made to make it look like it's a bigger magazine. And there's just some pins right here that hold that in place. So that's fairly basic. And the lower receiver on this, or the lower part of the receiver, I should say, is just a block. Like, it actually feels like it's some sort of synthetic, like, polymer, and it's just kind of a block cut out with the pieces it needs. A spot for the trigger, a spot for the AR style pistol grip, and then the spot for the magazine. So very, very, very simple. As you look more and more at this design, you can see how more and more it looks cursed. So trigger-wise, trigger is fairly simple. The mechanism inside is, I actually wasn't sure if I was going to be able to put it back together when I first took this down to clean it. It is such a simple design. And as far as from a reliability standpoint, it does work. I haven't really had much issue with it. I haven't put a ton of rounds downrange with this. I haven't shot in a little while, so actually without further ado, let's shoot it a little bit. All right, well, I got a couple of targets set up downrange. I got my little tiny spinner one, which is probably going to fall apart the second I shoot it. And then I also have my steel gong down at the end of the range there. Probably only like 30-35 yards. I'm not really going for accuracy right now. And as I mentioned, 15-round magazine loaded up with Blazer CCI Blazer 22 long rifle, 38 grain round nose. All right, let's give this a shot. And always remember, take the safety off, otherwise it's not going to shoot. So, tested, safety works. Perfect. And there goes that target, so. So no last round hold open, so that's 15 shots. But yeah, shoots pretty good. Like I said, for a very, very simple, inexpensive rifle, it actually does shoot really, really well. So far at least. It'll probably jam before the end of this video. All right, guys, well, we're going to shoot the M116 one more time before we talk about anything else. What are we going to shoot this time? We're going to shoot some Ballistic Lucky Charms, brought to you by Online Outfitters. Did they give me money to buy Lucky Charms? No, but they had a huge sale going on at the time of this recording on the Pull Start Fire starter. With the money I saved there, I was able to buy some Ballistic Lucky Charms. What are Ballistic Lucky Charms? They're the exact same as normal Lucky Charms, except you shoot these ones. Online Outfitters also sent me this cool hat just because I've been a big supporter of them. They've been a big supporter of this channel. They have all kinds of cool fishing gear, sporting gear, shooting, hunting, all that kind of fun stuff. Fire starters. Pull Start fire starters. Going to make sure to check out onlineoutfitters.ca. Link right, well, here, but you probably can't click that, so just check in the link down in the description down below and you'll get there. All right, time to shoot the Ballistic Lucky Charms. Got another 15 rounds loaded up. Let's go. Alrighty. Let's go see how the Lucky Charms fared. Alright, so got the Lucky Charms. Just your standard 22 exit wounds all over this nice board game, which would be harder to play now. But now I'm hungry. So as I mentioned, I did want to talk a bit about the history. I did need my notes though, because there's a lot here. So as I mentioned, this particular model is the Kassnar Imports M116 MK1. So as the name implies, Kassnar Imports, they didn't make this rifle, they were just the importer. So Kassnar Imports, American company, they were incorporated in 1967 and ran until 1989. Now, the reason why then I mentioned there's those other models, the Armscor 1600, as well as the Squires Bingham Model 16, they're the same rifle. As far as I can tell, they're the exact same rifle. With the way the company that made the rifle, the way their history went, you'll understand. So in 1905, Squires Bingham & Co. opened up, and then in 1930, they were bought and renamed the Sportsman Headquarters. And then it was sold and bought again by Don Kelso Tucson? Well, I'll put it here, I don't know how to pronounce it. At the beginning of World War II, and then he ended up renaming it in 1952 to the Squire Bingham Manufacturing Squires Bingham Manufacturing Incorporated. In 1980, the company reorganized to Arms Corporation of the Philippines, aka Armscor. Then in 1985, Armscor International Precision opens up its first office in the US, and in the same year they acquired Rock Island Armory, or the Rock Island Armory brand. A lot of the Rock Island Armory Armscor products that you may see with different rifles are all the same company. They're actually Philippine company who makes these rifles. Squires Bingham is also the name of that company. So this is where it gets kind of muddy for trying to date some of these rifles. At some point, Kassnar Imports was importing this rifle into the US, and they did so up until that they basically shut down in 1989. I couldn't seem to find when they started importing this rifle, so it could be as early as 1967 when they were incorporated. So in theory, it stands to reason that the Squires Bingham version, like the Squires Bingham version, would have been being sold until they reorganized into the Armscor Corporation, and then after that the Armscor version would have been there. So it does stand to reason that the Kassnar Imports model would have been around at the same time as the Squires Bingham and the Armscor, so they kind of would have been sold side by side. That being said, in theory, based off the serial number, this particular one was probably built sometime mid-80s to late 80s. Just based off of some of the confirmed serial numbers that have been sold online and sort of the last serial numbers that were kind of available online. Like I said, not a super popular rifle, so there's not a ton of information out there, but that's at least a little bit of a history of the rifle, as non-clear as it was. But let's shoot it some more. So next up, we're going to shoot some onions. Why? Because I haven't cried enough today. All right, let's shoot some onions. That's gonna smell real good in a minute. Oh man, 22 actually just kind of destroyed these guys. Wow. Oh, that smells potent. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm not crying, you're crying. So let's just take another quick look at the rifle just to show you some of the other details. So there is a muzzle brake, a flash hider, which really doesn't do much. This is a 22, so it's not really doing too much. As I mentioned, kind of a fake looking gas block for the front sight. It does have the front swivels and rear swivels for this sling. I don't think this sling came with it. It just looks like a cheap leather thing, so it's probably something somebody just put on. As I mentioned, wood stock. We got some chips here so you can see the wood down in there, and like I said, that polymer kind of stock with a very basic trigger. It does have a decent trigger pull. Very simple plastic AR style grip. I don't know if you could swap it out to a regular pistol grip. I could try at some point, but I'll get back to you on that. As I mentioned, safety, S for safety, F for fire, kind of a weird spot. As mentioned with the magazine, 22 long rifle looks like your standard magazine with then this shroud on it, which has this button here, which then releases the release in the magazine well. It releases that in the magazine well, so you can pull this out. It is very stiff, at least on my model, so pulling this out, you actually do have to give it a fair bit of force. As mentioned, the bolt handle spins, whether or not that's pro or con doesn't seem to matter. That shell deflector, the bolt, and then like I said, the carry handle. So I'll see if I can actually kind of set this up to show you what the sights actually look like. You can kind of see it's not really going to focus very well, but just kind of line that up through the peep sight, which is basically a standard peep sight, so you guys get it. But yeah, a really cool, weird looking gun. Anyways, back to shooting stuff. So next up, I thought I'd do a little bit of accuracy testing. Nothing super scientific, just got 5 rounds of the Blazer CCI ammo and an Ace of Hearts stapled up to a branch of a dead tree. So I'm just gonna take 5 shots at that, see how it goes. We'll go from there. Not putting it on bags or anything like that, so. All right, that's 5 rounds. Okay, well, I guess I'm aiming a little low, but decent grouping. I hit the card, so actually I might have been low on one, so because it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I shot 5, so shot a little low at that range, but once again, it's a peep sight. I don't shoot this a lot, so I'm just gonna keep making excuses for why I can't hit a target from like 12 yards away. No, it's the gun. It's definitely the gun. All right, and lastly, we're gonna shoot 2 liters of pop, or soda to some of you. Anyways, just to keep it fun, I'm going to shake up one of these really crazy a lot and have my assistant set them up. I'm not going to know which one's which, and we'll be surprised together which one's going to explode and make me need a shower. All right, so I got my 2 liters set up down range. I don't know which one's the shaken up one. I'm trying not to look at them because one's a little bubblier than the other. So I'm just going to turn around, shoot, and see how messy this gets. Let's go. Oh, I think I know which one was the shaken up one. Let's shoot the other one. Oh, they basically had the same reaction. And a couple on the steel gong. All right, that's it. Oh, I think I know which one was the shaken up one. Let's shoot the other one. Well, yeah, we almost got the same reaction out of these 2 jugs. Although this one kind of looks like it's split open more, so that one might have been the shaken one. Was the shaken one on the left? Okay, so I've just gotten word from my assistant that, oh yeah, okay, you can see the right one split open too. So shaken versus not shaken, they got basically the exact same sort of reaction, which is kind of surprising, to be honest. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching the video today on the Kassnar Imports M116 MK1. Like I said, funny looking rifle, kind of goofy looking, which I'm kind of here for. It's different. Not everyone's seen it. It's not super popular, which once again just adds to kind of its uniqueness. So it's definitely a fun little plinker for the range. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what firearms you'd like to see next for me to do a little breakdown on. And yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next adventure.